My mom forgot my birthday. Mother's Day is around the corner. What do I do? I just turned 21. My family has always been big on birthdays, as most families are, I'm pretty sure. When we were younger, we'd wake up to the birthday chair, a chair with balloons and streamers and all the like. My dad would make pancakes and buy whipped cream and strawberries with chocolate sauce, and if it was a school day we'd get to choose whether or not we went to school. If we chose to go to school, we'd get one present in the morning, and lots of presents after school. The siblings would often get a small gift, not for any spoiled brat reasons, but because my parents did it when we were younger, to the point that the birthday child started getting upset if the sibling didn't get to open something with them. We are a household of 3 kids, 23M, 21M, myself, and 11M. This sibling present tradition stopped when my younger brother was about 5. As my older brother and I got older, we still got the same tradition, but my dad had to work more, so you were likely to get a lengthy, well-written, "Happy birthday, sweetie, I love you very much" text around 6 a.m. when he got up for work, just in case he didn't see you. This tradition continued when me and my older brother became physically disabled, my brother due to a long-term illness, and me due to a birth defect that wasn't treated in time, as it was unlikely to see us. The text was always as soon as our parents got up, as they usually had to leave the house to drop off the younger brother or work, and it was just a nice little thing before we got up and got all the traditions I noted earlier, but just closer to the evening. My parents split in 2022, and my mom 50F moved out in 2023. This change was pretty big, but due to our disabilities, my older brother and I decided not to move between houses. It was a tough decision, but it was painful for us to follow my little brother's custody schedule. Well, this year, early April, I turned 21. I wasn't expecting a lot, since financially we're in a tight position, and I'm not overly frugal. I asked my dad for my favorite dinner and cake, and we agreed to invite my mom over for dinner with us and my best friend, 20M, who moved in with us and my dad shortly before my parents split due to issues in his own home. My birthday morning rolls around and I'm going through my messages and see the typical one from my dad, a very touching message that goes over the usual lovey stuff and tells me that he managed to make the cake I asked for, etc. Love you, Dad. Later, I have to message my mom regarding my birthday dinner. My older brother had food poisoning, so I had to postpone it because I wanted him to be there. So I go to text her and see no happy birthday text. Admittedly, I didn't really notice. I was so worried about my brother that I was kind of out of it, and sent her a quick, "Hey, sorry, we're gonna have to rain check my birthday dinner." It's only after I message her that I get a delayed, "Happy birthday." This was a kick in the gut. My mom has been becoming frequently less involved in my life while wanting my brothers and I to maintain her benefits of being our mother, but this just made me want to give up. She constantly uses the phrase, "I don't want to just be like some favorite aunt, I want to be your mom," but my aunt, her younger sister, said happy birthday to me on Facebook before she even opened our messages that day. There's an old man who's a friend of hers who I literally don't know who sent me a happy birthday message before her. "Thank you, Pops, it made my day." 3. How am I supposed to view her as a mother when the bare minimum isn't even being looked at as a possibility? Well, somehow it gets worse. I tried to rebook my birthday dinner, but for some reason she just constantly had better things to do. She said she canceled due to a migraine, but then said her migraine would be better by Tuesday. It was Sunday at the time. Then she told me she couldn't do one of the days that week because she was having a party that she was hosting. You're hosting a party for your salsa group, but you're too tired and busy to pull your shit together for your son's 21st birthday? Something that's supposed to be monumental? I'm not even asking for anything massive. A text, hell, maybe a gift would be nice. A hug. Some attention of some sort. Congrats, you survived. On top of that, she later revealed that she didn't have a gift. I turned 21 in the first week of April, sent her a list in March, and she revealed she didn't get me anything until about a week after my birthday. Not because of financial reasons, but just cause she forgot. She clarified this to me, not an assumption. It didn't arrive until early May, but I've ordered from the sites I sent her and their local businesses, which means their things usually arrive within 2 to 4 days, 1 week at the latest, not 21 days like it apparently took. I asked her and she said no shipping difficulties or delays were reported, which I think just means she might be lying about when she bought it. Again, I'm not materialistic, I don't really get wound up over gifts, but considering she already forgot my birthday, this just kind of piled up. As you can tell by my writing, this affected me a little bit. Before it affected me, I told my dad and older brother in passing. They were absolutely besides themselves. My brother told me he got the 6 a.m. happy birthday paragraph that year, and she even reached out to ask what he was planning to do for his birthday. She even took him out for his birthday to celebrate. What a winning parent. My dad cried. He doesn't cry a lot, but he did. He gave me a little present bag with chocolates and cash and explained it was all he had right then but promised me more on a later date, hugged me and apologized for my mom's behavior. It's not his fault, obviously, and I told him as much, but he was still incredibly apologetic. Now, I don't want to communicate with my mom about this. I know it would be the mature thing to do, but my mom has a recurring pattern of not taking anything I say seriously, calling me a drama queen, saying I'm exaggerating, laughing when I feel genuinely upset over something, telling me I'm overreacting, getting mad when I suggest she did anything wrong and sending think pieces about things I've done in the past, aka, when I was a child and didn't know better, bringing up my dad's past faults, failing to understand her fault in anything, trauma. Dumping on me about her relationship with my dad and just the whole shebang. Mother's Day in my country is this upcoming Sunday. I'm writing this post on a Thursday morning. My dad and my siblings still want to celebrate Mother's Day, mostly out of obligation but also because it was a 30-year marriage, so my dad's just kind of used to this and does still love her a bit. I don't want to celebrate Mother's Day. I don't really care that it's petty, I'm old enough to know that. I'm not considering a petty choice because I'm immature, I'm considering a petty choice because she makes the mature choices all impossible to approach. Confrontation isn't an option because she refuses to take responsibility for her actions, and celebrating while grinning and bearing it is an option. I know my temper isn't the greatest, and I don't know if I'll be able to sit there and celebrate her while letting my anger boil. Do I fake sick? Do I tell her I have a migraine and then throw a party a few days later? What am I supposed to do? Edit, I feel like I missed out some things as I'm noticing some comments missing some details, so let me give a little more background. I don't know if I failed to make it clear, but this is a repeat offense. My mother has been constantly distancing and always forgetting me in particular. I'm physically disabled because she refused me healthcare in my early years as medication would be bad for me. Despite this disability, because my brother was sick, I was entirely responsible for my little brother's upbringing because she was too tired to raise another kid and I wasn't doing enough, because according to her acing high school is not working hard enough. I can't work because now I'm entirely physically disabled due to lack of healthcare. My brother's and dad's reaction was the way it was because this isn't the first time she's forgotten only me. As to where my dad was during this time, he was the only working parent, so he wasn't home. When he was home, he was the full-time parent that my mother admittedly wasn't. I'm sorry if this post came off as immature, but I think my explanations to her brushing me off consistently gave at least a bit of an insight into the dynamic that had been set. The problem wasn't her just messaging me later in the day. The problem was I had to message her about my birthday for her to even remember. I really don't care about gifts. I don't. The point of highlighting her gift timeline was because it didn't make sense, and I zeroed in on it because I was upset over the whole birthday thing in general. She could have told me she didn't get me something, or that she couldn't afford it, and that would have been fine. That's not a problem, it just felt dishonest to order something so late and claim it hadn't arrived yet. The dishonesty was the problem. My mom doesn't have a job. She doesn't have something better to be focusing on. She writes fanfiction, which is cool and absolutely no hate, that's awesome, but she doesn't have a job to focus on instead of her kids. She walked out with like a week's notice to her youngest son, which I recognize is the fault of both my parents, and I have talked to Dad about this, and my dad paid for everything out of his money, not their shared money, for her to move. After that, she hardly contacted me unless it was to complain that I was not seeing her enough because I was bedbound and couldn't afford a wheelchair because of the money she borrowed from my dad to move out of the house. This isn't really about the birthday, I recognize. This is a last straw situation and a child who has become incredibly spiteful due to years of poor treatment. But I hope this provides more info. Update. Well, I'm not sure if my last post blew up, per se, I'm not sure on Reddit's standards of popular, but I wanted to thank you all for the overwhelming amount of advice and support my last post received. I also wanted to apologize for leaving out so many key details until the edit. I am used to a lot of what commenters deemed good reasons getting labeled as excuses, and was worried the same would happen here. I guess that just goes to show how my upbringing looked, haha. On to the update, my dad extended an olive branch and offered a Mother's Day dinner here, with the whole family present. I assumed this would happen, so I wasn't too disappointed or surprised, just decided I'd have to grin and bear it. Well, 2 days later and it turns out I'm sick. I've got a cold/flu-ish thing, and accidentally infected my best friend and older brother. So, my dad decided to message my mom and ask her if we could do the dinner another day. Turns out, my mom didn't even remember it was Mother's Day today. So I haven't said anything. I haven't messaged, haven't sent her anything, haven't reached out. If she asks why, I'll tell her I've been out of it because of my illness. I already have a poor sense of time and I'm sure she'll understand. To those of you who were worried about my little brother, I can reassure you he's doing okay. He's in therapy and his therapist knows the situation with my mom, and my number is listed on his record alongside my dad's. Some of you were concerned about his situation and urged me to get my dad to take full custody. My dad is going to offer to her that he takes full custody so she can focus on her work since she hardly has time for him, which is just not a life we want him to be living. But of course that's only an idea, and the best we can do is hope his communication about home life with mom remains as open as it has been over the past few years. Thank you for all the birthday wishes and honest answers, it means a lot. This update probably isn't super satisfying, I didn't get big time revenge or anything, but life took the wheel and just guided me with some plot convenience, I guess.